Well, there we go.
Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, Bobby. And good evening, Kelsey.
We've got a few punctual ones here, look. We've got, they're on time.
Yeah.
They're more punctual than me.
That's true.
Paul 46, the real honest ghost. Oh, there's Check's granddad in chat, I know.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, and Kelsey, the lovely Kelsey. So I hope you're all well, guys, and welcome back to another Monday night with myself and Paul, where we're just going to talk a bit of, anything and everything, current affairs and everything. We try and stay away from politics and religion, but
we do.
We do occasionally, put a toe in, and I usually get my fingers burnt because Paul gets upset.
I do. I get a bit angry.
So how are you this week, Paul?
I'm cracking, mate.
Good.
Cracking. Loving it. It's great.
Well, weather's turned, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit cooler today. But
yeah, it's
rain's held off.
Well, we had a great week last week with weather. I mean, I was sat out every day. And then it's turned now. It's got a bit colder, and now it's raining at the moment here.
It's not here.
But apparently, back end of this week, sunshine's going to be coming back. So
yeah,
should be a nice weekend.
Hopefully so.
Fingers crossed. Yes.
I don't mind. It could rain every night. I don't care as long as it's not raining during the day. It's good, isn't it? Rain at night. I love it.
The real honest ghost says, Grandad loves smashing the politics subject.
Yeah, I do.
Well, last week we got on about all sorts, didn't we? Trump and bloody all the lot.
No, Bobby, we didn't, mate.
We did.
Unfortunately, you've had a sleep since then, and you didn't come in last week.
Not last week, no. But
you see.
Must have been week before.
Been.
Paul's asking, have you both enjoyed the week with the bank holiday? Well, I went out on Friday and had a few beverages with my friends. But other than that, I've not done much for the bank holiday. Have you done, Paul?
No, not really.
No.
I spent the bank holiday afternoon watching England women cricket.
All right.
Very good. I quite enjoyed it.
Right. Yeah, I've never seen that, to be honest. I didn't really, it's not right well known in that, is it, women's cricket? Women's football's making a mark now, aren't they?
Yeah.
But women's cricket, I didn't.
Yeah, the cricket's quite good. I quite enjoyed it.
And is it county cricket?
No, it was an international.
All right.
It wouldn't be county cricket if it was England women, would it?
Well, is that what you said, England women? No, you said women's cricket.
Yeah, England women's cricket. I think I said. I might not have done, but anyway. It was West Indies and England.
All right.
And it was 20 over match.
And who seems the better side?
Oh, England. They've won all three.
Have they? All right.
They've won all three.
So we're making the women's football and women's cricket.
Yeah, saying that the West Indies have got better over the three games, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a fairly young team, and there's lots of new players coming in.
Well,
No, go on.
The West Indians, it's like their national sport, isn't it? I know it's British sport, but they all play it in West Indies, don't they, cricket? You know,
Yeah.
They grew up with it. They were playing it to school kids, weren't they?
Yeah.
Just like we were. I mean, I don't think they do it now at school.
I don't think I played cricket at school.
Oh, I did. I
think the only thing we played at school was whip and top.
Oh, I was quite a sportsman at school.
I wasn't.
I was a long distance runner. I was champion long distance runner. I could do cross country. Because do you know why? Because I knew how to pace myself.
Yeah.
I used to let all them lads go, because we'd go around the village and right out into countryside. Then they'd have us doing about a 4-mile run, and they used to have marshals every so often, count kids, make sure we're all still there.
Yeah.
And I used to let all those that thought they could do it in super time. I'll let them go, and it's like the tortoise and the hare.
Yeah.
You know, consistency, and I learned that about running. Because as a kid, the only thing I did wrong was I didn't run fast enough. Other than that, I never did out wrong.
Your dad always caught you.
Yeah. Oh, you what? them chunky fingers got hold of the back of my collar, and I knew about it. Aye. Yeah, I used to like my sport at school.
I
but then when I
hated sport.
Did you? Then when I left school, yeah. I played 5-a-side for quite a long time, but it's an hard game, is that, because we used to book the court. Summer would be outdoors, winter indoors, and we booked the court for an hour. Well, you didn't waste the hour, so you'd have 30 minutes one way, and then you just swap over another 30 minutes, and used to use the wall, so it bounced off wall, so it was non-stop for an hour. But I used to like that. It was very energetic, though. I couldn't do it now. I mean, when I was in my bloody late 40s, somebody rang me up and said, do you fancy making money? And I said, you what? At that age, I couldn't do it. I said, I don't think so. But then I ended up, you see, my sport, as I said before, it was snooker and billiards.
Yeah.
A non-energetic one. It's a thinking game. But I tell you what I watched today. I watched a little bit of darts. And you know, I can't get my head around how they can retin up so quick.
It just comes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It comes once you've played it a while. It's like anything, it's like teaching your muscles something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once you start playing darts, it comes automatically. You know how to get 119 from 3 darts. Well, you just know.
That Luke Littler, he's only He's only a young kid. He's a baby, isn't he? And he they were throwing numbers at him. They'd say 146, and he'd say double this, treble that, single this, and that. Wow! But I watched them, and I thought halfway through they missed something. They've got straight away to start thinking, what do I need now? Now, I used to play a little bit of darts.
Well, you don't. That's not how it works, is it? Because if you're going for 120 and you get a triple 20, and you're going for double tops, and you miss it, well, you know damn well that you're not going to get it, and you know you need to drop it.
Oh yeah.
It comes it's automatic because you've been there before.
But before they get to that point, they could be halfway through the game, and it's like, I've gone from 147 now. I need a 103. Yeah. Because I missed and I got that. So they've to start, and I think, bloody hell, that's amazing. Because when I used to play a little bit on a Monday night, we used to go out with lads, long time ago, but. Landlord used to put a bit of food on for us, and we'd have a darts night on a Monday night. No, just a knockabout. They went out. We weren't in a league out. There were like 6 of us, but we were regulars, And but it was easy because you got that scoreboard. You just tap number in what you've got, and it'll tell you what you need.
Yeah.
And you've got plenty of time then. But it is a little bit same with snooker, to be honest. Because if you miss something, you've got to start thinking about what, where you're at and what's left on the table.
Yeah, you do.
But that's my sport.
But it comes with. I was going to say with practice, but it's not practice. It just comes with playing.
Yeah.
Because as you play, oh, I've missed that, and I need to go. I've missed double 16.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I need to go for 8 double 12.
Yeah, and your brain said to you, I've been in this situation before, so I know where I'm going. Yeah, so it's your subconscious mind is always.
You've taught yourself it. It comes automatically.
But
once you've done it enough.
They're fast, I like that, lads. I mean, remember back in the day when they used to all suck beer and cigarettes?
Yeah.
There's some big Jockey Wilson,
Wilson, he used to knock pints back like going out of passion.
Oh, bloody hell.
He used to throw 3 darts, come back, down a pint.
Yeah.
Go back to the hockey and throw the next 3 darts.
Eric Bristow, they were all at it, weren't they?
Yeah.
What was that that flash one from London? Somewhat George.
Oh, Bobby George.
He had a jingle on, didn't he? Old jangle.
Bobby George was when I was at Brid. Me and my good lady took over a bar which was underneath. It was a bar underneath another pub,
right?
And we opened it up as a darts place, and we called it Arrows. And all it was dartballs. You could get a pint, of course, and a drink and whatever, but it was dartballs, and it was Eric Bristow who came to open it.
All right.
Yeah. It was quite good.
He was an agitator, Eric Bristow. He admitted it. He says I used to wind him up.
Yeah.
He says that psychologically I had him.
Yeah, because that's you get them wound up and you start winning.
Yeah.
It's like anything, isn't it?
But that young kid, that littler, for his age, he's a good darts player. But the pressure and the anxiety and stress he must be a one-off to be able to stand that at his age. Hiya, Jeff.
Yeah, it's
good old darts. I mean, I remember, but you remember snooker players from 80s?
Ray Reardon?
Ray Reardon, they called him Dracula, didn't they?
Yeah, Dracula.
So he had his hair slicked back and he
looked like fucking Dracula.
Yeah, he smiled, his teeth looked, he got 2 protruding teeth, hadn't he? And it looked like they were fangs. Welshman, wasn't he? Were a Welshman.
I don't know. I could just remember his name.
There were a Canadian called Bill Werbenick.
Yeah, Werbenick.
He were a big lad, and they didn't want him drinking because likes of Alex Higgins were drinking vodka and getting bloody drunk,
Yeah.
So they tried to calm him down drinking and said, look, we don't want you drinking as much while you're playing, especially with live games, because we don't need it. And Bill Werbenick went to his doctors and got a note from doctor to hand into authority to snooker board and said, my client, my patient you must allow him at least 3 pints a game, or a set to calm his nerves because of anxiety. He got a bloody doctor's note and he kept on drinking. I remember that in news. I
remember it.
They used to have it's a different world, didn't it? All sports used to have cigarette sponsors, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Embassy.
Well, the Embassy World Cup. Snooker. They'd all wear bloody jackets and cigarette smoking away.
Yeah. Well, what's his name was what's the Irish one? The tall Irish lad who was always pissed. I can't remember his name now. It'll come to me in a minute, but he just chain smoked. the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never had a cig out of his mouth.
Yeah. It were
Hurricane Higgins, was it? Was it?
oh
Higgins?
yeah, yes, Higgins. Yes. He did everything by extreme.
Yeah,
Everything.
but I mean, he just used to smoke. He'd put one out and light another straight away. All the time he had a cig.
Yeah. He one of those, like I say, he was like George Best. He did everything to extremes.
Yeah.
And that's, that was his talent. That's why he was good what he did, because he pushed it all the time. I mean, there's certain things that he did that it'll never be repeated. He was unbelievable, that lad. But yeah, his best friend, Jimmy White, tells a story. It's on Facebook, on YouTube, and he says, he'd have 7 or 8 vodkas a day playing snooker. He says, and he couldn't fault his game. And bloody hell, can you imagine that today? Oh, you'd be devil, wouldn't you? If you did that now. But I mean, like, even motorsports, John Players. John Players. He was the sponsor, of them, didn't they?
Yeah, there was another one that sponsored Marlborough.
Marlborough, yeah.
Marlborough, they were another sponsor, weren't they?
Story of Marlborough, black guy on horse that's on packet, cowboy on horse. Yeah, ironically, that picture of that lad, he died of cancer, lung cancer. Right. That's ironic, being in a bloody cigarette packet, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's true, is that? Yeah, Alex Higgins, Kelsey, yeah. Yeah, Marlborough sponsored all sorts, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They were into everything with Marlborough.
But you could go on a plane, couldn't you, and smoke?
And Players was another one.
Oh, Players, yeah, Players were a big.
Yeah, Players was a big sponsor.
But they were that's back in the day when they were making millions and millions. Now, That government's trying to stamp them out, which fair dues, we need to be an healthier society. But
whatever.
But back in that time, you could go on a plane, couldn't you, and bloody smoke?
Yeah, you didn't have to sit at the back.
Well, that's it, and you could go to cinema and bloody smoke. I mean, it's only something like 2005 when they stopped you smoking in pubs. Not that long ago.
Yeah. And
cigarette machines in pubs and bloody. When I was a kid, they were on wall outside.
Yeah, they were.
How long was they last now?
2 minutes.
There used to be chewing gum machines as well, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
and cigarette machines. They won't last 2 minutes now. They'll be lifted, won't they?
Yeah. They would.
What's that, the real honest ghost? Now it's supermarkets and Rolex.
Yeah, sponsors.
All right. 2007 it was. I just come back from Denmark and didn't know, so just lit up in the pub and asked for an ashtray. Kelsey. Yeah. I must admit though, I mean, as being a smoker, being a smoker, it must be it must be nasty. I mean, they even let you smoke in restaurants, which I never agreed with anyway, because a non-smoker having a meal with a wife don't want to have somebody outside of them smoking. It's not nice, is it, for food? But I did notice in pubs, when they stopped them smoking in pubs, the pubs smelt a lot better, because all that stale smoke, and every pub were bloody yellow with stains, weren't they? But it's all changed.
It has. Everything's changed.
Well, it has. Totally. Well, there was a demonstration on Saturday, across country, and they didn't report on it. Apparently, I saw it. I read about it, and I saw a bit on YouTube. Somebody recorded it. Different towns that demonstrating, complaining about the migrants, the two-tier policing, the benefit cuts, and something else. And there were all walks of life there, from right young to right old, because it's affecting everybody, isn't it?
Yeah.
and it's a shame that, and there were quite a few cities and towns, you know, joined in, but there were no reports of it on news. So they do these media blackouts, don't they, the government?
Well, they must do, because I haven't heard out.
No, it's
because you know me, if I'd have seen it, I'd have got my gob going.
It certainly happened, because I was telling Mrs. Because my missus says to her mother, don't go into town if they're doing a demonstration. But it was a peaceful one, which you're allowed to do. I says, if your mother knows what it's about, she'll be up front carrying flag.
Yeah.
I know what her mother's like. She's like that. She'll tell them.
She'll join in.
Yeah, she would have done. I said, we don't want to sit here and see it on news. Been arrested. Yeah, it's got to everybody, hasn't it? The state of the country.
Yeah, well, you know, we're going to rack and fucking ruin, Bobby. We really are.
Well, Kelsey's put there, it was a national protest across the country, but it's been kept off the media. Crazy. Yeah, well, there shouldn't even... Look, it's legal to have a peaceful protest in this country. And that's what it was. There was no shouting and bawling. It was people marching.
Was it big numbers then?
I think, from what I saw on YouTube, somebody recorded, there were a couple of hundred in this town. I think it was Doncaster.
Right, okay.
But it was like...
Well, that was the whole town then.
There were cars going past, people popping their horns in agreement.
Yeah.
And they were just marching through with the signs, etc. So it's not as if they can't report that. Why haven't they reported it? It's because of that bloody Starmer. He's keeping everything quiet. He don't want this to be known, does he? You know, the damage is done.
I didn't go there, Bobby. You did.
Oh, the subject. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I didn't go there.
Sorry, mate. No.
You did.
Anyway, listen. This book that Kelsey's going to write for you.
Right.
I think you should tell us a few of your stories to start with, get people interested in it. You must have some stories. Even Kelsey says that you've got loads of stories.
I'm fairly certain that Kelsey's heard one or two of my stories.
She'll be damaged having to listen to all them stories.
Well, she's only heard the cleaned up stories, not the dirty stories. You know,
I hope not at all. Yeah, she's a young lady. Yeah. So, haven't you got out for us, Paul? You must have had experiences as a landlord having to kick people out or.
All the time, mate.
Have you ever had to put up with somebody you just cannot do with them, but you've got to let them have it because? No,
I've never put up with anybody. If I didn't like them, I'd kick them out the fucking pub. You know, I don't. The amount of people that have come into the pub and said it's a public bar.
Yeah.
Well, it says public outside, but inside I'm the fucking boss. And if I don't like you can fuck off. It's my pub, not yours. If you want a pub and go in it, go and fucking get one. Don't come to mine because you're a twat. Out.
That's a grand welcoming.
Well, if you don't like something, you know, you can tell, can't you, straight away?
Yeah.
Straight away. Well, you can.
But I know a couple of landlords, and they'll say to me, "Oh, he does mind nothing," but he stands at the bar, and it's
different nowadays. Nowadays, Bobby, it's different because the bloke will come in every night and spend his 20, 30 quid or whatever, and he's paying you pissing rent.
Right.
Back in the day, you didn't give a toss because there was always somebody else coming in after him.
Right.
So.
Right.
You know, you don't have to put up with shit, do you?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because, it's a public bar, I can, yeah. No, you fucking can't. Get out.
Well, I know a couple of people who are banned from bloody Witherspoons. How the hell do you get banned from Witherspoons?
Well, you probably refuse to piss on the floor.
Yeah, no. They've said to me, I don't go in there. Why not? I said, I'm not allowed. I've upset them. You've upset Witherspoons. How the hell do you manage to do that?
You told them the food was good.
Oh. Yeah,
God.
I don't know. Yeah. But it were a well-respected trade back in the day. I remember my uncle and auntie going to run a pub, and they applied to Tetley's Roadies.
Yeah.
And they had to go through 2 interviews. Sit down together, they interviewed them on their own, then they sat them together as a couple, and then they interviewed them again. And they got turned down because there were that many wanted a pub in them days. It wasn't an easy thing to, it wasn't not like now where they're throwing them at people.
Yeah, well, everything changed when Maggie made it. I don't know what the word is now. She put the boot in. Everybody said, "Oh, that's good," because breweries used to own all the pubs.
Yes.
So back in the day, and I mean back in the day, well before, back in the 70s anyway.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s, if there wasn't many freehold pubs, they were all belonging to breweries. So if the pub said it was a Tetley house, Tetley's owned it. If it was a Sam Smith's house, Sam Smith's owned it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whitbread owned it. So, and then because they owned the property, the rents were really, really low.
Right.
Because
Evening Noxie, just say hello to Noxie there.
Evening Noxie, because they didn't need to make money on the property because they made it on the ale.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then Maggie came in and said, all these big breweries with this monopoly, or whatever you want to call the fucking thing, you're not allowed to have more than, and I think it was 200 pubs. So, of course, Tetley's, Whitbread, all those who had 500, 600, 700, 800 pubs had to get shut. So there were hundreds and hundreds of pubs on the market. And then, of course, people who went in to run the pubs had to pay a proper rent. So the rent flew up. The brewery was still making its money on the ale, but they had to make money on the property as well, so they made money on the rent. Right. And then the beer had to go up because the bloke who was running the pub couldn't sell his beer at 50 pence a pint. Right. He had to sell it at £1 to pay his rent. Do you know what I mean? And, and that's what happened.
A knock-on effect.
That's what happened. Back in the 70s, it wasn't a closed shop in pubs, but it was a cash business, was pubs.
Right.
Basically, because landlords were telling the revenue people that they were only taking £100 a week when they were taking £200 a week. Do you know what I mean? The other £100 was in the safe in the back room. Then when you wanted to go and move to another pub, it would change hands with cash. So you go down the road and say, the bloke say, I'm retiring next week. I want to get rid of my pub. How much are you offering it for? Well, I want £500. I'll be back tomorrow. And you go down with your suitcase and £500, and there's the pub.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Those days have gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's all because Maggie took away that monopoly. The pubs had the monopolies.
Well, she stopped all that in all industries, didn't she?
Well, yeah, but
But if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, the system worked. It was just that people used to say, "Oh, fucking breweries, they own these pubs, they sell the beer at inflated prices, blah blah blah," and then, "Oh yeah, well, if you elect us, we'll get rid of that," and they did. They got rid of it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, look what happens. The fucking rents go up, the pub prices go up, the beer goes up, and everybody's paying £20 a pint. Well, that wouldn't have been the case if it had still been back as it was. It wouldn't have been the case.
No.
Tell you now, it would
Well,
not have been the
it
case.
didn't need interference, which sounds of it.
It didn't. It worked.
It was ticking over on quite. But that's that. Anyway, but let's just change the subject for a second. Clary is in the chat. Hi, Clary. And
Evening, Clary.
She's put a lovely message up there. My two favourite grey-haired distinguished granddads.
As she said, gentlemen there, but do you think she's watching another channel?
It was Noxie that calls us both granddads. Well, I don't know. She's lovely, Clary, though. He's a lucky man, he's Noxie. I hope he realises. Kelsey, you know what that stands for? We don't want no swearing.
Yeah.
Well, Noxie's just been telling us there in the chat that he says, have you seen the news about Liverpool's trophy parade today?
Yeah. I saw a bit of it.
A car drove into a bunch of people in the crowd. Is that right?
I have no idea. It didn't say on the news. It just said they couldn't see anything because it was all fucking red smoke.
Right. Well, that's the case. It's sad news to hear it. Oh, okay. If you're replying to Noxie, Kelsey, okay. But you're a lady. We don't want swearing from the ladies.
We she didn't swear. That's not swearing. Well, it's like LOL.
It's referencing. I refuse to apologise.
Too right, Kelsey. You stick up for yourself, girl. Don't let Bobby walk all over you. He's a little toad like that.
He ain't going to tell us any stories, Kelsey. He's saving them all for you.
I was on about one, and you said, let's just interject and talk about something else. I was going on to pubs, wasn't I?
No, you were talking about the state of the country and how the industry had changed. Don't you be telling me that? Yes, that's that. And it were verging on politics again.
It were nowhere near fucking politics.
We want you to tell us about old Fred who used to come in here, were comical, and we used to buy half a shandy. And there must be loads of stories like that. You don't have to name drop.
It wouldn't make any difference because they wouldn't be watching. So, yeah, I'm holding them back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I am, for this book.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got your hands full here, Kelsey. And you'll need to go through it when you finish to make sure there ain't too many swear words in, because you know there'll be plenty said. She says, save all the juicy stuff for the book, Grandad. Don't let Bobby draw you in.
Yeah, there you go.
I've been told now, haven't I? I better keep quiet.
Yeah, anyway, so we'll come off pubs now because I've been told off. I know when I've been told off. Hey up. Oh, I thought, my reading's getting a bit shit there because I thought Knox, you put something else there.
You know, when you read a biography of somebody, and is Bibby in? Because she's saying Bibby's a
I haven't seen him, Big.
You know, when you read a biography of somebody, and the childhood can be quite hazy because they don't remember everything. They'll tell you a story about the childhood, and then they'll go through their life right up until the present day or whatever. Yours is back to front because you'll tell about your childhood, and then at the back end of it, you'll be telling about all new family.
Yeah.
So you'll be introducing.
Well, your family. I can't really.
You'll be introducing your family attendance at the beginning.
Yeah, I can't tell you a lot about my childhood. I just have I have a few memories of my childhood, but not a lot, because really, because I left home when I was 15, so of course, there's not a lot of time, is there, for me to have lots of memories? Do you know what I mean? I've got lots of memories, but I don't know how to put it, but they're not that fucking interesting, quite honestly.
How many siblings did you have at home with you?
What, when I was young?
Yeah, when you were at home.
Me and my sister.
So there were just two, and were you oldest?
Between me and my sister, yeah. But I had 3 older brothers, but they didn't live at home. They were all out flying the kites or whatever.
All right, so you didn't all grow up in the same house at the same time?
Well, we started off. My 3 brothers and me started off in the same house with my mother as don't know what the word is. Squatters, I think, is the word, but it ain't squatters. We used to live in a ramshackled old shack on an RAF station that had been, lots of people in the area had taken over all these huts in this ex-RAF base that had closed down in 1949.
So this was 50s?
Yeah, I was born in the 50s.
Right.
So I was born in one of these ramshackle old sheds on the RAF base. And we lived there until I was 5, I think. So I've got a few memories of living on that RAF base.
Right.
But by then, my brothers, were into double figures. When I was 5, my brothers were, 10, 11 and 12 or 10, 11 and 13 or whatever. So by the time we moved into Brid, it's the eldest brother was, the second eldest brother had joined up. He'd gone into the army. The eldest brother lived at home for a while, and then he got married. And then the next brother up, he lived at home, and then he went off somewhere, and then got wed, and then come back, and we were all like rubber balls, all of us, except the eldest brother.
So you wouldn't have had that bond of living in the same house, growing up together, but you wouldn't have had a normal siblings bond where you're all in the same house at one point.
Well, yeah, when I was really, really young, we were all in the same house, except for my sister.
Right.
Because my sister was born, fairly late in my mum's life.
Right.
So, she stopped being on the game or whatever and started to live properly.
Right.
As such.
Well, it's a different world, Paul, isn't it? I know you said your mother struggled to feed you, so she had to do these things or whatever she did.
So I'm not knocking it, Bobby. Quite honestly, I'm not knocking it.
No.
I can't. I don't know how to put it without sounding a twat.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not knocking it.
No.
So let me just answer this. Jen McCabe, I'm not coached or whatever that is. Levi's doing fine, mate. He's out in September. You want to know any more? Tune in on a Sunday night, 7:00. That's when we talk about it. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not knocking. I love my mother. She's the best woman ever in my life. I'm not knocking it. I'm just trying to make a joke of it.
Yeah. I can say. I can see that it sounds like you're struggling to define what she did and where she was, and in my
head, I know.
Right, but the easiest way to express it is maybe with a bit of humour and a bit of, a bit of character, because people don't realise, but when you get to our age, Paul, it is a different world, the past. The things I did when I was a kid wouldn't have been acceptable in today's world. I don't just mean me, I mean what people were doing.
No.
And the things you had to do, my mum and dad would send me and my sister out at bloody 9 o'clock at night to laundrette, and it would pitch black when we were coming back from laundrette. And 2 young kids, bloody 9 and 11. What the hell's all that about? You won't now that you get your kids taken off you for that today.
Well,
but that's the world we lived in.
My mum used to go out to work at 8:30 on the morning, and by 9 o'clock the house was empty. We'd gone. We were all out,
right?
And we didn't come home until the street lights came on. Oh, street lights are on. We'll have to go home.
Yes.
Do you know that would
Yeah. We went by that rule. We went by that rule.
Street lights came on. Time to go home.
Because you lost all concept of time.
So we just went all over the place. You know.
But we used to do as a bunch of kids. We used to, front down the street. We'd do that. Like, lights are coming on. We better go. And if you didn't, you got a good hiding. Now, we all used to go down to Bradford as a kid. We all went down to Bradford to Alhambra, not to Alhambra, to ABC Cinema as a kid, and we'd all walk down. My sister.
Did you have the Saturday morning cinema?
Saturday morning.
Minors.
And my sister were in charge because she was oldest. But there were 6 of us all walking down the road. We'd walk about 2.5, 3 miles down to.
So you went to the ABC Cinema on a Saturday morning.
Yes.
Can you remember the song?
Oh no, I can't remember. I used to remember catching. I remember a bit. Oh, I'd been a bit older when they brought the badges out. You used to be able to get by it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And it had a letter on. You could collect them.
Yeah. ABC Minors.
And they used to put 2 black and white comedy films on for kids on a Saturday morning, and we'd go. My dad were happy for us to be out at the house, and same with swimming baths. We all a lot of us would go with towel rolled up in trunks rolled up in towels.
We didn't have that in Bridge. You see, we didn't have swimming baths because we had the beach.
Is there not a swimming bath?
No, not when I was young.
Well, when I was in Bradford as a kid, there were one every. I bet there were one every 2 miles. There were everywhere swimming baths.
Yeah, that's because you didn't have fucking baths at home. You had to go swimming to get clean.
No, there were loads of them.
We had the biggest swimming bath going. The North Sea.
Aye.
But I mean, yeah, I can remember when I was 13, 14-year-old, and you'd get the 6 weeks summer holiday, and me and my mates used to be on the beach every day for the 6 weeks holiday, all day.
Well, wouldn't you been working? With
bag
carrying?
No, that was Saturdays and Sundays you did.
All right.
Carrying.
Oh, of course. When they were coming
Monday to Friday, you went and flew your kite or whatever and played at wars, because on the beach, on the edge of the beach, we used to have all the old bunkers. I can't remember, not bunkers, the pillboxes.
Oh, right, yes.
Well, we had pillboxes all along the south beach at Bridlington.
Right.
And we used to play war as you do it when you're kids. I mean, when we used to go to the miners and it would be what's that cowboy with and his Tonto?
Lone Ranger
and Tonto used to be on at the ABC Miners on a Saturday morning. You'd go and see the latest episode, then you'd come out and go,
oh yeah,
what the?
Used to have a little cap gun.
Yeah.
Little rolls of bloody.
Little rolls of caps.
Yeah, and it stunk. It stunk.
It's
yeah,
different world.
Little cap gun. yeah, I used to do all that. Whip it and top.
Whip and top.
Yeah.
Did on your whip and did you have a whip and top?
Yeah, but I could never master it, mate.
I could. But did you used to put chalk on the top, different and make patterns?
Make a swirly pattern.
So when it went round, you all had a different pattern.
That's right.
Tried to beat somebody else. A bit like marbles, wasn't it?
Well, I was marbles, me. I'm more into
I was into marbles as well, but
you used to get the big ones. We used to call them barbarians.
Yeah,
big
we used to call them double eyes, I think.
Right.
Double eye as in eye.
Yeah, they were big shiny ones.
Yeah, massive. And you used to get massive ones.
You could go to school and swap 4 small ones for a big one.
Yeah.
And
you can now, but it's a different thing now.
Oh yeah, totally different. That was fun. That's what we used to do as a kid, wasn't it?
Whip and bloody top. Yeah,
it's what we used to do as a kid. You made your own fun, didn't you?
You didn't have to plug it in, did you?
No, there were no television screen involved. We never stopped. I never watched telly as a kid.
No.
A bit of Saturday morning cinema, that was it.
We used to watch telly on a Sunday.
Well,
because it was a big thing, you know. My mum had us all round, you know, had all the family who was available round. We used to have a big dinner, and every Sunday the house would be full. Right. And then after dinner, we'd all sit and play cards or watch a bit of telly or, you know, stuff like that. Just as families do, I suppose.
Well, we never had us telly on unless there was something on. My mum would say, "Oh, there's Golden Shot on at 6 o'clock on a Sunday, so we'll put it on." Put it on and turn it back off. That's how we did it when I was a kid.
Yeah,
the telly went on all the time, and our telly we were a bit posh because we had a built-in radio in it.
Oh, and, right.
But no, we never had to, because there wasn't that much to watch, because TV didn't really start till about 4 or 5 o'clock at night, and it shut down at 11 o'clock, didn't it?
Might have been a bit earlier than 11.
With a national anthem.
Might have been a bit earlier than 11, thinking about it.
We'd got 2 channels, and it went to 3, didn't it? Went to BBC 2 come along, and and we used to stand up to national anthem at end at night. Yeah,
we did. Mum would clip our lug if we didn't.
Yeah, it were all about respect. But there were no daytime TV or anything like that. Well, like now you can put it on 24/7. But there were no need to have telly on. When I right up until I was about 25, I used to listen to radio at morning, no TV.
Yeah.
Oh, it's radio.
Yeah.
You know, there's too much emphasis on TVs now. It's all these bloody Netflix and Amazon Primes and all these, and you can watch anything anytime. You know, if I couldn't sleep when I was young, and there were not to get up for. I couldn't put telly on. There were not to get up for. You know what I mean? You'd read a book or maybe put radio on low. But it won't like it's a totally different way, and that's what I don't think people understand. So when you're talking like about your mum and your siblings growing up, it's not as if it's today, is it? It was a total different world.
Oh, it's a different world altogether.
I mean, we used to have to. My dad was a funny eater, and he'd only eat uncut bread. And me and my sister used to have to walk bloody miles to this bakery just to get him an uncut loaf every day.
How did he get a loaf of bread in his gob?
Well, he sliced it, you silly beggar.
Oh, right. I thought you said he only ate uncut bread.
Yeah, but he'd only get a fresh loaf. You know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He said, I can't eat that bloody rubber stuff.
Yeah, that's what it was, because it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that's when, I mean, in fairness, an uncut loaf made a beautiful sandwich.
Yeah,
You don't need 4 or 5 sandwiches to fill you up.
No.
You just got a nice sandwich, didn't you? But that's how, and we'd go to bakery. There were no supermarkets and deliveries like these now. I mean, they can even shop at supermarket now and get it delivered to your house.
Yeah,
you don't
I do.
But you can go online and shop, and it's. Oh.
I do.
But in that, I mean, fair dues, Paul. As you get older, you know, it makes it easy for you. That's what it's about. Yeah.
Do you know, Bobby? I don't have to go out. I could sit in this flat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and not miss anything, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Because you can get the supermarkets will deliver, the little local shops will deliver. Everybody will bloody deliver. KFC, Chinese, Cantonese, whatever. Everybody delivers.
Right. My wife started shopping online.
So I get my shopping once a week online, and I get it midweek because you can get free slots. You don't have to pay for it to be delivered.
You sound like my wife now. She does that. Now she'll say,
Bobby, I won't say no to you, mate.
But I'll be sat doing something on the computer, something, watching telly, and she'll go, "Do you want some sausage rolls?" I said, "What are you on about?" "I'll get you some sausage. I'll put it down on the list." And she sat on the settee with her phone making bloody shopping.
Yes.
And I said, what the bloody hell's going on? But I feel, it's fine for people who can't get out. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. Or people who don't want to get out, But don't you think a lot of people miss the community?
Yeah, I do. I miss speaking to people.
But it breaks the community up, doesn't it? Because my wife's big on it. She'll say it to me all the time. If she sees somebody in the supermarket on their own, and she'll have a chat with if they say hello, she'll say hello back, especially elderly folk, because she's got this thing about it might be the only person I've spoken today.
Yeah,
and I don't say him, but it's killing all that, isn't it? It's killing all that community. I
agree with you entirely.
It's not long before we won't know as neighbours.
Well, I can tell you now, I've got in this block. There's four blokes in this block.
Aye.
And I've only met one.
All right.
Next door. And I only met him because I knocked on his door once. I've not seen the other two. They could walk by me in the street and I wouldn't know them. But they won't walk by me in the street because I don't go out. But you know what I mean?
No.
I wouldn't know them.
Which is okay. They're allowed to be like AI. That's what they want to be, not introduce themselves. But it's not the community spirit I grew up with.
No, it's not. It certainly
don't get me wrong. There were a downside to it when I was a kid because there were nosy beggars.
Yeah.
What fishwives up the defence talking about everybody. So there were a downside to it to being a neighbourly.
A bit like them two who used to do telly.
Les
Dawson and his mate,
Roy
who used to be stood there and
yeah. But I think society, these communities are going to end up disappearing. They are. Because like you said, you can live your life without even having to talk to anybody we don't want.
Yeah.
You couldn't back in the day. You relied on things. You relied on seeing shopkeeper. You relied on going to post office. And that could be, that were part of your weekly routine. My mum used to always have a note, but she got to do it day after.
Yeah.
And we had when we had wash day. Yes, I remember when we got a twin tub. Remember the twin tubs?
I do. Yeah.
She got a twin tub, and it was. Hey, she says the best thing since sliced bread. There, she says she had to put a nose outside through window to let out steam out, and it used to bounce over across rooms. So she had me and my sister sat on it all the time. It was going because it was bouncing about. Old twin tubs. It used to go under to worktop.
I was trying, just when you were talking about it, I was trying to think where we used to keep our twin tub when my mum got one.
Yeah. They were popular.
For the life of me, I can't think where we used to keep it.
No.
It might have been out in the shed.
I bet you had a mangle in cellar.
Yeah. We didn't have a cellar. We come from posh side of Yorkshire. We didn't have cellars.
Posh side of Yorkshire?
Yeah, we didn't have cellars. But we definitely had a mangle and a dolly tub.
Yes.
Definitely, because...
we had a bathtub. It was a big metal bathtub.
Well, we had...
Dolly tubs are smaller, aren't they?
Dolly tubs are for washing. Bath tubs are for having a bath in front of fire.
Well, the bathtub or a metal bathtub that my dad got off his dad when the house when his dad had gone. He took this bathtub, put it in our cellar because he said we used to all get bathed in that and we used to hang it up the wall.
Take it in turns. You used to have to take it in turns. The youngest went last.
That's it.
So you got out of the fucking bath dirty and you got in.
Yeah, and he says if it was too shallow, he said he'd put a brick under one end for you, so it were deeper.
yeah. Well, when we lived on the RAF base, it didn't have running water in the hut. Didn't have a toilet, didn't have a bathroom. It was just a big room, and bits of it had made into a kitchen type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And your toilet was outside, and your bath was outside. So, of course, Sunday nights, bath night, Mum would get the biggest lad to go out, go and get the bath, and she'd put it in front of the fire, because we had one of those, an open fire, one of those stove things. I can't remember what you call them, but the stoves. Right. A wooden stove, because we couldn't afford coal, but it was all wood. And, of course, it used to have big pans on the top with water getting hot. And then she'd put one big pan in and a coal in. Biggest lad would get in, he'd have his bath. Next lad would get in, she'd put some more hot water in. He'd get in, has his wash. Next lad got in, had his wash. Then I'd get in and have mine. Well, like I say, by the time I got out, I'd come out looking like the other three, dirty. Because it was just the same water. And
half drowned because it was full.
Yeah.
Oh, in front of fire, yeah. I mean, my dad told me he used to get... he got this tin bath off his dad, and they used to do it in front of fire. But he said he used to hang it up in a cubby all day because they didn't have a cellar. So it'd be on a wall, and on a Sunday night they get it out in front of fire. But we took it to our house. He took it to our house with my dad because he said that'll be all right for washing. So we didn't have a dolly tub. We had this bath.
We had a dolly tub, but the place we kept the bath outside, it is. Because it was an old RAF base, outside had, I don't know what keep you from the bombs.
Air raid shelters.
Like air raid shelters, but no top on it. Oh, so right. It was like a long corridor with a great big banks of soil, and that was where we used to keep the tin bath on the wall out there. Because my brother built the far end of this thing. He put a roof on it, and he started keeping pigeons. And that was his pigeon loft.
Yeah.
And he started off in this little, as I say, in this little old air raid thing, keeping his pigeons. And he had his pigeons. He died when he was 47 years of age, and he'd had pigeons all his life.
Right.
And I've heard him say to his missus, you can fucking go if you want, but the pigeons are staying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were his life.
The worst thing I remember as a kid was outside toilet. I hated it. I hated it because...
Well, we didn't... The thing without us is we didn't have to share outside toilets.
No, we didn't, but ours were connected to next door neighbours. So it was one block, if you like. It was like one building.
Oh, right. Well, ours wasn't. It's really hard to explain how it was. But our outside toilet wasn't connected to anybody's. It was just there. It had no fucking roof on it or out like that, but well, you know what I mean?
I always remember there were always big, solid wooden bloody seats, weren't there? Toilet seats.
Yeah.
They were proper heavy seats.
Yeah.
And tank were always above rather than behind, wasn't it? With a bloody chain.
Yeah.
A long chain, it now make a racket. And my mum used to put newspaper, cut up newspaper on a string. And I used to, as a kid, I was scared, stupid at spiders, because there were always spiders in there.
Yeah.
But my dad could spend hours in there with newspaper.
Yeah.
He loved it. It was, and then when my granddad bought an house, he had an inside toilet, and it was posh. It was posh. It was like, wow.
Well, when we moved, and like I say, I think I was about 5. I might have been 4, might have been 5. I can't really remember. I remember the move, and we were going from this clapped out old Nissan hut, and we moved into a 3-bedroom house in Brid. Had an indoor bathroom, an indoor toilet, had its own kitchen, had a scullery, had everything you wanted.
Yeah.
And a shed outside.
and
a garden.
So that were luxury, that compared to
it was. It was,
well,
you know.
Well, I remember my grandma, you know, she had this, she was a bit, she turned funny. She turned funny because she thought she was a bit posh because she got an indoor toilet.
Yeah.
And she had a front room and all. They used to live in kitchen and the front room. Any guests come, she used to take them into front room.
Into front room. You weren't allowed in.
No, kids had to stay in kitchen. But she wouldn't let us kids use the indoor toilet because they've still got outdoor one. And we'd have to go to outdoor toilet, and that's for grown-ups. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't and you behave yourself in this kitchen while we're in there with adults talking. Oh, I should a bit too.
Yeah, but
she'd grown up with absolutely nothing, you know, like a lot of people had. So when she got this solid brick house, stone house, you know, a little semi back to back, she loved it. You don't see them anymore, do you? Back-to-back houses.
No, I don't. I think there's a few left in Leeds, though. I might be wrong there.
There is a few where I am, but you know, these landlords bought them all up and rent them out as bed sitches.
Yeah. But anyway, Bobby, it's 8 o'clock, mate.
Right, I've had a good old crack. There, mate.
I thought you said crap. I'm going to say, have you?
I thought
that was only me who did that.
Well, we've had a good 10 out tonight and all. We got numbers.
We have, I've enjoyed it. It's and I haven't gone crazy.
No, you haven't got upset.
You know, I haven't gone crazy about anything.
But I always my problem is I always get nostalgic. I do.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with getting nostalgic. Nothing at all.
Well, I say I'll leave you with this. When I was a kid, I used to laugh at my dad because he says, "All music sounds same."
Yeah.
You don't know you're born today. And I said same to my lad without realising. It passes on, doesn't it? Generation by generation.
Yeah, it does. But the other thing, of course, is you in your head, and I don't know, you know, you could sing a song from the 60s, yeah, and it'd still be good if you see what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine your son in 40 years' time? I don't know how old he is, but in 40 years' time, singing a song from the 2000s? No, you fucking can't, because what the fuck is that?
It's all electronic, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, matey. So, anyway, people, before we go, just remember, next Sunday night, 7 o'clock, it's the update hour for Levi. Special news this coming week, and I'm not going to let you know what it is, but there's some good news coming this week. And it's good news week. Someone's dropped a bomb somewhere. There you go. So,
well, we'll look forward to that.
So Sunday night, 7 o'clock, this channel, and then of course me and Bobby will be back. Monday. Same channel, Monday night, 7 o'clock. Yes. If God's good to me, that's all I can say. Okay, so Bobby, you want to say good nights and whatever?
I'm going to shut off because she's wanting to come in and make a cup of coffee, and
I
stop her coming in while we're doing this. Anyway, thanks everybody. It's been lovely to see you all again. Some lovely faces, names that we say. I put faces to them, and let's keep going because we're enjoying this. We have a good old crack, a good old bit of fun on a Monday night, and if you want to go across and subscribe to me, and you can catch Paul on Sunday before you see me Monday. So thanks again, guys, and I'll catch you later.
Lovely. So it's live long and prosper. TTFN. Take care, folks.
Good night.